So with goal setting, so stats show that only 2% of people really set goals and write them down and achieve them. So often we'll set a goal at the beginning of the year and then can't understand why we haven't achieved that goal by the end of the year. The other times we've got a whole lot of different goals that we need to achieve. One thing I always believe in is one goal, personal, one must achieve business goal. And from there's a whole lot of other goals that you need to achieve that will ultimately achieve the goal that you want. So sometimes we'll set it at the beginning of the year and then that's it. We just get into a routine and we just go and let everything just get in our way. And then get surprised at the end of the year when we look back to say, what happened? Time flew. This whole year has gone by. I mean, we're sitting in the second half of the year and what have I actually achieved? So the importance of having quarterly reviews. So every quarter, whether you do from January to March or whatever, or whether you do it from financial year to the end of financial year, you meet with yourself 4 times. So either you meet with yourself first, which I do, and then you meet with your team, and then from there you've got your plan for the next quarter. So generally what you want to do is you want to sit down, take a full day out, and we always talk about in a year, once a year, take a full 2 days out, and that 2 days is to plan for the whole year. Once you've planned for the whole year, you then have to now meet on a quarterly basis to ensure that you align to what you've said you're going to achieve for the year. So in the quarter, you're going to get together with your team and we'll sit down and have a look at what did we achieve. So these are our achievements for the quarter, what attributed to it, and from there, what actions do we need to continue with or improve on for the next quarter. Then have a look at what you didn't achieve and what attributed to it. And you'll find the ones that you achieved, you had to, or there was a reason for the motion for it. The ones that you didn't achieve maybe weren't important enough, or you didn't want to face them, and why did you put them in, or there wasn't a pressing issue. So you've got to look at what attributed to what you achieved and what you didn't achieve. And then going forward is the ones you didn't achieve, say it wasn't important enough, do I need to do it, do I need to make it part of my plan for this next quarter, or park it for a more appropriate time. Once you've done that, you want to now put a high level, what is my personal goal? I always say 1 goal, 100% chance of achieving it, 2 goals, 50%, 3 goals, probably won't achieve any. So what is your number 1 personal goal? And be very specific. It must be measurable, achievable, realistic, and have a time frame. And then what is your must-achieve business goal? That's it. Don't start putting a second and a third and a fourth business goal, because likely it's not going to happen. Once you have identified, start to unpack it. So you take a personal goal or your must-achieve business goal and just say, what would it mean to me if I achieved it? How important is it to achieve it? And then say, right, fine. So how am I going to measure that goal along the way? What are my measurement tools? And then when I've achieved it, what would that mean to me? Then you're going to put reality. The realistic now is put down what is standing in my way. What could be the issues, the obstacles that could hold me back from achieving that goal. Now you've started to unpack. At this point, a lot of people will think, well, is this goal really that important? Because now I've answered all of this. It doesn't really mean much. Can I really measure it? There's too many obstacles. Let me rather, so at this point, it's like a deselection process. At this point, you'll know whether this particular goal is actually worth pursuing. Once you've done that exercise, the next step is to go through, right, what are the actions I need to take to enable me to achieve the goal? So you've got to break it down. And then you've got 13 weeks, because 13 weeks is 90 days. So in my 13 weeks, you'll put there, with those actionable items, when does that action need to be completed by? End of 3 months, end of 2 months, end of 1 month. And as you go down, you'll start to fill in when the outcome needs to be achieved. And then you break down in the weeks. If it's 3 weeks time or months time you need to achieve it, what do I need to do in these first 4 weeks? If it's in 3 months, what do I need to do? And you break it down every quarter, every month. What is the outcome? What is the outcome? Once you've done that, you're again thinking, is this really the goal I want to achieve? This is where also you need to sit with your team, because you've got to identify who's responsible for that action. So is it me? Is it my assistant? Is it the sales team? Is it the finance? Who is responsible to make those actionable items? Remember, we talk about the 6 keys to winning team in there. So what are their goals and what are their actions they need to take? Because if you're putting down the actions and you want somebody else to do the action, they don't own it. So that's why you've got to include the team in setting the actionable items to achieve the goal, because you'll get more buy-in if they were part of the process. And that's that 100% inclusion and involvement. Once you've set those days, you say, okay, fine. So now we know, now you need a default diary that's going to say to you, right, when am I going to focus on this action, this action, this action? You've got to put in your diary, because if you don't put in your diary, somebody else will fill your diary up for you. Situations, circumstances will fill up that diary for you, and you'll never get to the goal and the actions you need to do. Once you've done that, you need to start to also look at your key performance indicators. So your KPIs, how are we going to measure those actions that we actually are implementing when we're on track? Again, it takes time to think. So it's not to rush through this process. This is a full day that you're going to sit, and still more work to work on over the week. When you identify your key performance indicators, the strategies that you need to use, each strategy has a very specific key areas that you need to focus on. Once you've done that, the next thing you want to look at is your budget. So what is my budget for the quarter? Because there's time and money. So your budget's not just money, it's also time. Have you broken down how much money, what money you're going to generate as income, what money it's going to cost you, how much time is it going to take in each of those areas? Once you've done that, you now have your management accounts. So do you have financials that can align to show you that in the next quarter, we should be able to achieve what we budgeted for based on the actions that we've done? That's why every action needs to have a time and money attached to it. Once you've got that management account, then you already can see whether you're on track or not. That's why it's important to have financials. It's important to have a diary, because then you're able to see exactly, engage whether you're behind, on track, or ahead. So once you've completed all of that, you've now set your goals and your plan for the next quarter. So what we've just talked about is just for a quarter, which is 1 day. So if you're doing it for a whole year, that's a full 2-day exercise at least. And then your teams will then break down. So yes, it's a hell of a task to do. It is, but it is so worth the time invested. It's like laying a foundation for your year to be successful. If that foundation is not set properly, there's no ways that you could comfortably reach that goal that you're trying to achieve.